Roberto Wakerell-Cruz, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. So what do you think when you saw this comment? It seems like a little bit of a classless move to kind of throw Trump under the bus at the last minute there.
It absolutely is, and like you were saying, I'm glad you brought up it was the G7, I believe, or G20. It was a couple of years ago that he was caught on a hot mic with Emmanuel Macron and Boris Johnson, and they were just kind of talking, gossiping behind Trump's back, and that was kind of the first instance in the public eye that it became clear that Trudeau didn't have a level of respect for Trump that he did for, really, for the president of the United States that you would expect. And so this comment was just another backhanded, just low blow that shouldn't be coming from the Prime Minister of Canada.
Especially Roberto, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when the news about the Keystone Pipeline came out, Trudeau was one of the first people to say he was disappointed in Biden's decision. And now he's saying that this kind of leadership has been sorely missed.
Well, yeah, so upon Biden's, I believe it was a day one executive order for him to cancel the Keystone XL pipeline, which effectively cost the U.S. and Canada combined 60,000 jobs. I'm not sure exactly the split between the two, but it's a lot of jobs, well-paying jobs, a lot of union jobs between the two. And Trudeau did come out and say that he was disappointed by the decision, but in that same breath, that same statement, he also said that he was looking forward to working with the Biden campaign on issues of climate change. And that was, which just sounds bad. This pipeline was something that nobody really believed the Trudeau government wanted. It had been kept in limbo for a really long time. And then the cancellation just seemed like it was a easy way out for Trudeau. And in that same breath, yesterday he said that Biden had said that he was looking forward on doubling down on the climate agenda with Trudeau, because they have similar ideas and philosophies. So it just, it's disrespect, and it makes Trudeau look like a guy that doesn't stand up for Canada on a world stage, on a meeting that a lot of people are watching.
Right. And Roberto, you also, you talk a lot. I follow you on Twitter, and you mentioned Trudeau weakening Canada on the world stage in regards to China as well. Can you kind of explain that situation to people?
So it's a pretty long story, but to make it short, Justin Trudeau, the most recent story that makes it appear on the world stage that Justin Trudeau will not stand up to China is that there was recently a vote on the Uyghur genocide in the Canadian Parliament, in the House of Commons, that was voted unanimously that China was committing a ethnic genocide. So that's the headlines you'll see, that it was voted unanimously. But what a lot of people don't show is that the Trudeau Liberals abstained from the vote. So it was actually every single person, every other opposition party that voted that this was a genocide, and not the Trudeau government that decided to abstain. And this has been the latest in a series of just appearing weak on China. There's been 2 Canadians that have been held in China now for, I think, coming up on 1,000, or I can't remember exactly how many days, but it's been over 500. It's been a couple years. And it's just over and over again instances where it seems like Justin Trudeau can't stand up to China, gets pushed around and gets bullied by China. To the point where there was even a story a little while ago that Trudeau allowed Chinese troops to train in Canada and kept this secret and kept it covert and classified until government documents got leaked, which is a whole story in itself. It was a scandal that got swept under the rug too quickly.
Now, Roberto, I'm talking about Roberto Wakerell-Cruz. He is an editor at the Post Millennial. It's a great, great website. You guys should definitely check it out. They come out with these stories really fast. A lot of the stuff that I talk about every day is from that site. And you can follow him on Twitter at Robertopedia. Roberto, I guess my last question for you is, what is going on in Canada as far as these lockdowns and COVID? Because, selfishly in America, we tend to focus on what's happening here, and we don't really know as much about what's going on where you guys are. So are things opening up? Are things locking down more? What's going on?
So the reason that the government has been locking down Canada, and so in Canada it works in a provincial system. We have premiers in every province, and they get to call what the lockdown rules are by their public health measures. basically everywhere in Canada is locked down. A lot of Ontario and Quebec, the two largest economies in Canada, have been locked down forever. And those are two what you would consider conservative governments. But they can't open up because the Trudeau, the federal government, has not secured vaccines in any meaningful capacity. I think Canada has fallen to 53rd in the world in terms of vaccination.
Wow.
In the G7, we're in last place in unemployment. Our unemployment rate is, I believe, 12%. It could be 9%, which is the highest in the G7. Our debt to GDP ratio is the highest in the G7, and these are all very recent things that happened because, basically, our government is refusing to reopen until we get enough of the population vaccinated. So, in a breath, it's the federal government's fault for not securing vaccines and forcing these premiers really to keep people locked in their homes. So yeah, that's as simply as I can put it.
Well, Roberto, I mean, it must make you feel a little bit better that, like Trudeau said, U.S. leadership is it's been sorely missed over the past few years. And now that Joe Biden's in there, maybe he'll help you guys out a little bit, because between playing Mario Kart and stoking the fire, I'm sure he'll find some time for Canada.
Hopefully. I mean, yeah, hopefully that's how it turns out. I mean, I've had enough of lockdown, and certainly we could use a hand from the U.S., and we've even had provincial premiers, the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, beg of Trudeau to ask and call Joe Biden and ask for vaccines from the Kalamazoo, I think, Pfizer plant. And who even knows if that call has been made? So, but yeah, I agree. Big time.
Thank you, Roberto. And everyone should follow him at Robertopedia, and make sure you check out the Post Millennial. They're a great, great, great website. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We hope to have you on again soon.
Thanks. Let me know. Bye.
All right, guys. I also wanted to talk a little bit on the other side about this new shift from the kids in cages to the people in migrant facilities. And the reason I covered it, pretty much for an hour, I think, yesterday, but everyone was really waiting for AOC. Everyone was waiting for the queen of social media to make a comment on it, because you will remember back in the day, feels like years and years and years ago, when Trump was accused of having these migrant children in cages, AOC did not mince words. She called them concentration camps, internment camps. She, asked Republicans how they could sleep at night with this brutality going on. So people were waiting on bated breath to see what AOC was going to say to Joe Biden. And I don't have to tell you guys, because you probably figured it out, her response was a little lackluster. Wasn't as strong as the original response, and I can't seem to figure out why. We'll get to that on the other side. If you've been thinking of getting away to the Fallensby Inn, do not wait. I had my listener getaway this past weekend, and it was an absolute blast. The angel biscuits, the grits, the rooms are beautiful. The entire area is so gorgeous, and it's really quintessential New England. It's super cozy. We had the best time. All the listeners were awesome. But Dennis, who is the innkeeper, just does a phenomenal job. If you want to go somewhere, it's reasonably priced to get away, to decompress, to relax, to rejuvenate. This is the place to go. They have 17 unique historic guest rooms. They also have 2 adorable dogs that roam the house and are so cute. Grace and Angel, that's their names. My parents have visited the Fallensby Inn. They're going back soon with their friends. They have a complimentary homemade breakfast. Like I said, Dennis is a wonderful cook. This time of year, you can take advantage of the inn snowshoes, which I did when I was there. Very fun. And discover the beautiful area. To reserve your room today, go to fallensbyinn.com. Excellence is assured. TripAdvisor has given the Fallensby Inn the Hall of Fame Award for 2018 and 2019. Fallensbyinn.com, the best of the past. Make sure you check them out. We'll be back on the other side with a little bit of AOC news. Do not go anywhere. Also, guys, today I have Erica Sanzi coming on, and I also have David Marcus coming on from The Federalist. He's great. He's on Fox a lot, so don't miss that. Hang on. We'll be back on the other side. This is The Grace Curley Show.
The Grace Curley Show will be right back.